Well, it's been a bit of a strange start to the season for us this at Bournemouth, we've got to be fair, but our new boys from deadline day are settling in okay. We're still picking up enough results, albeit maybe not taking full advantage of an easier start to the season on paper. But today, after two games on the road in Europe, we've got our first match in Bournemouth in the Europa League. We've got the mighty Feyenoord after a trip to West Ham, so this episode should be plenty of fun. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 62 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We are back to go to Trevor Brooking Park, the stadium of West Ham United that will host us today, an 84,000 capacity stadium built just 2 years ago to face Eric Ten Hag's West Ham in a big Premier League match. We've had this weird 4-week international break which seems to occur from this point on in FM24, but then we've got a game I'm really looking forward to. Our first home one in the Europa League against Feyenoord after a pretty positive start on the road, and we did take a little bit of a gamble with our selection in the early weeks, which paid off when it comes to Europe. So if you're looking forward to seeing what's been going on and how we get on in the two big ones today, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We'll see how the new boys have settled in and we'll have a look at our recent results. And of course, we'll get into the two big games. But first, let's have a look at the schedule and see what's been happening over recent weeks, because you can see it all looks pretty promising. We're on 2 points a game, and if we finish the season in this position, I'd be thrilled. My worry is we've had a very easy start on paper, which we've talked about a lot, and I'm not sure that we've taken full and complete advantage of it, because if we have a look at the schedule, we have been away since deadline day and that big 1-0 win at Palace, and overall, we've done okay, but without any spectacular performances, as you can see. A 2-2 draw at home to Barnsley in a third round of a League Cup almost cost us. The goalkeeper, Barreto, made a bit of a hash of a strike near the end to make it 2-2 and send it to penalties, but then he did save one to get us through, albeit Barnsley's goal scorer for the third penalty was Luca Cannell, a man that we know from many a save in FM over the years here. I guess the main positive is that we scored all 6 of our penalties, and the winning one was actually our new signing, Victor Nelson. Van der Lack got one as well in the game, and Solanke scored the opener. At home to Hull, a bit of a missed opportunity, albeit I was happy in the circumstances because Hull battered us for an hour. We came back into it, Chris Mepham nicked one from a set piece, and in the end, I was just happy to get the draw and continue the unbeaten start. But then the fixture congestion really started with the Europa League group phase, and I thought, right, let's take a few gambles, because our league fixture in the middle of them was Liverpool away. And I went, look, we can rest our people for both Europa League games, risk losing them or drawing the matches, and then go into the Liverpool game full strength and maybe nick a draw at best. Or we can sacrifice the Liverpool game and try and get 4 or 6 points in the Europa and virtually get ourselves through this early on. We took that option and it worked a treat. Ferit Aslan popped up with a first half winner as we played a full strength team other than Barreto, the sub goalkeeper, against Sparta Rotterdam. Good result away from home there. We only actually lost 2-1 at Liverpool with our reserve team, albeit the first choice goalkeeper came in and was magnificent. He also played on a Thursday night because Barreto had a little knock. He came in and we won 3-1. We actually scored all of the goals in this game. Schmidt and Leonardo's brace for us and Chris Mepham's own goal for Red Star. Against Newcastle, another missed opportunity. A 1-1 draw at home for Facundo Fernandes. Looking a bit better so far this season. 2 goals already for him. But Sandro Tonali pulled it back and we weren't quite able to find a winner. So a few signs that we're going to slip up just enough this year. But it has been a really friendly start to the season. I mean, even this time we start with West Ham. The game in between the Europa and the Carabao Cup is Reading. I think I'll probably go as strong as I can there and then rest people against Bristol City, which is another fairly favourable draw. And we saw that with the FA Cup last year. We've just got really lucky with cup draws at times. So as a result of that, it's not really till November that things start to get really tricky, where we face United and Spurs with a trip to Poland in the middle. And then in December, we've got the likes of Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Everton, all in a big bunch and a hugely congested month. That's where our squad, I feel, will get found out a bit. But of course, we should have Alex Scott back by then, so might be a little bit stronger. We have had a few little knocks here and there so far. the centre forward who came in for big money in the summer that I wasn't sure about, just keeps missing games. It's getting incredibly frustrating. But overall, we're in a good position going into this one. But if West Ham beat us, the gap will be down to 1. They've signed Saku Mara from Southampton, Sinistera from Leeds or Bournemouth, depending on where he went in this save. Then Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic at the back, Pickford from Everton, Ward-Prowse, the only original with Kudus in a team, I think. So let's go and get through to the team selection and see what we can put out today, because a 4-week break means everyone is well rested. Even the international break finished about 10 days ago. And due to most people now returning from injuries and knocks, we can go with our strongest 11. The only people missing out that you didn't know about already is Lopez, really, who I keep mentioning his knocks. He's come back and played for the 23s in the week, but he got a 1 to 2 day injury there, so not quite fit for this one. We'll feature him on Thursday night. And then Alex Scott is on his way back, but still got about a month, I would say, before we get to see him properly. If there's November international break, I'd expect him to return after that. But we have got a bit more strength in depth than we were used to in recent weeks, so this is the 11 we've gone for today. Karnazeki stays between the sticks for this one, with Schmidt, Mendes and Mepham the back 3. Pretty confident with Mendes and Schmidt now. It's just Mepham who's slightly struggling to perform on the left. Aarons and Doig the wing backs. Again, Aarons letting us down, but Ollie Byrne, still the worst trainer at the club, not pushing on. We've got Fernandez and Miley, the 2 new loan boys, really doing well in the middle. And actually, despite what I thought would happen, Miley's probably been the best of the 2. And if he can show some signs of development, might be a real star for us this year. Ferret Aslan and Facundo Fernandez are both doing well out wide. And Marcos Leonardo, the last couple of games have been good, but we know consistency's not really his forte. So let's go and get into this one away at West Ham. Hope we can get the job done and rest a few for Thursday. I'm sure it won't be that simple. Well, we arrived here to an instruction to close down Kudus, and actually, there's a lot of the originals on the bench. You've got Zuma, Alvarez and Ben Johnson all still involved in the squad. Ten Hag, though, making his mark with his changes, and this is going to be 2 teams setting up fairly cautiously, I think. I would expect them to have more of the ball based on their style and their manager, but the way they've set up with a team, maybe you would expect quick wide play. This is going to be a bit of a mystery, this game. Let's see how the first half goes. As early doors, it's West Ham on the front foot. Sinistera cutting in from the left and playing back to Ranieri. The centre half has space to run into. You can see we're not engaging too high there. Dongu gives it away to Aslan, no. As soon as they hit our half, we press, and he finds Fernandez. Good break from him, the left winger. Gets to the edge of the box and forces a good save from Pickford. He's becoming a bit more of a threat this year. He's almost fluent in English. And I wonder if that's helping him blend in with the lads. He's worked into one of the social groups too. He's headed away from the corner as far as Gedson Fernandez. He cuts inside to Schmidt. He finds Ferret Aslan, and it does peter out. But a good start on the counter. And we're back with a throw again from Doig on the left. Kudus nicks it off Fernandez though. Fernandez presses him and almost forces the error. It's out to James Ward-Prowse. We've got to be wary of him. McMara's been robbed. It's Doig who gets there. Leonardo holds up well. Finds Lewis Miley. And now Gedson Fernandez can go back to Mendes. We can try and get a bit of control here. I think they are playing to their players rather than what we expected from the manager. Trying to break away at speed, but we've nicked it a couple of times. And you can see here, we're happy to have possession with Lewis Miley. Great ball out to Doig, who's overlapping on the left. Into Leonardo, who fires over. It was a great counter-attack. It was brilliant football. Probably among the best we've played this season, albeit just 6 minutes in. We've had a couple of great chances. They've lost a striker to injury, but it's still 0-0 with 20 gone, and that's all West Ham will care about. Let's try and encourage the lads, because the morale's not quite there, and see if we can force another wave of attacks, as we're not having much of the ball. When we get it, we're creating chances. Well, right on cue, we've got a problem, because Facundo Fernandez has picked up a knock, indicating a calf strain, and we don't want to take a risk with muscle injury, so a great chance for a different type of player in Wilco van der Lack. Played okay in the Europa League so far, but he's got those electric attributes physically, and I wonder if he'll be able to break in behind for us. As with 5 minutes to half-time, it's been a pretty even match. The quick start has not continued. On a stroke of half-time, there's 3 added on, and West Ham are on the attack. James Ward-Prowse cutting in from the right. Oh, what a lucky deflection. The keeper's down. He's about to pick it up. And it nicks off one of the defenders, I think Mendes. And it finds its way in. Ivan taps it in from a yard. That is so infuriating. We're 1-0 down at the break. We haven't deserved that. We've been really decent, but we've still not created enough chances, and Leonardo, after 2 good games, has turned up with a shocking one here. So we're 5 minutes gone in the second half. We'll give it a little bit longer, but then I will take the gamble. Van der Lack must have got a knock as well. He's really knackered for some reason. Lots of the lads struggling with confidence as well. Let's encourage them, and let's get some subs on here. I'm going to go Leonardo off for Solanke. Still the super sub despite his massive decline physically. I'm going to get Victor Siganov on in midfield for Leonardo, or for Fernandez, sorry, who's not been great. Forgetting the names now. I'm going to get Aarons off for Ollie Byrne at right wing back, and I'm going to get Nelson on for Schmidt, who's had an absolute stinker, and hope that he's able to deliver here. All 5 changes made. Please don't give me any injuries. We've still got the better expected goals. We've had a couple more chances than them. We've not made anything of it, and we're giving the ball away in silly areas as Ivan, from distance, it's over the bar. It's one of those things, isn't it? We do struggle for goals, so we're relying on defensive displays, and when you give away a goal, you always know you might be in trouble, as Karnazeki has got a goal kick, 10 minutes to go. What is it with his kicks? They're not reaching halfway today. Not normally the case. Either West Ham have got a massive pitch or there's something wrong with him. Though Van der Lack's nicked it high up the pitch off Ward-Prowse. Why did he not run at them? He's gambled on a long shot despite not having the most technical ability. He's quicker than any of their defenders, but just stopped. We're going to go attacking with 4 to go plus stoppages. And with 5 added on, we're pushing on again. The lad's confidence seems to be on the floor, and I don't know why. We lose 1-0, and to be fair, West Ham there have done to us what we have done to so many teams in the almost 2 years we've been here. They've sat back, they've had very few chances, but they've done us on the counter with a lucky goal. As a result, they're just 1 point behind us now, and we suffered a taste of defeat for just the 2nd time in a league this year. But let's hope against Feyenoord we can find a way to bounce back. We'll have to decide how strong we're going to go on Thursday, but for now, let's skip ahead to it. Well, it's fitness test time, and Lopez should be fit for this one on Thursday night. But of course, we've got to be wary of Reading on Sunday. Not sure that's a 4:30 Super Sunday, but we'll see. And we'll hopefully find a way to keep people fit for both of them where possible. The good news after 4 weeks off and a while without the international break is that we should have most people on a light match load, which we have. I was just having a look there. We've only sold 10,000 tickets for a home game against Feyenoord. I highly doubt that. Let's go and get through and pick our 11. I think we are going to change the goalkeeper this time because he is going to be our Cup and Europe keeper when he's fit. We're also going to get Lopez in the squad and Casale. We get 12 subs, of course, here. And we normally just put the best youngster in, which at the moment is Witham, the left centre half. So that is the squad for today. Do we want any other changes to the 11? Leonardo was poor last time, but Lopez not really fit enough to start. He'll come off the bench for him later. The only other one I'm questioning is Aarons off for Ollie Byrne because he's playing really poorly. He's training pretty averagely as well. Maybe I can just give him a kick up the backside instead. We'll criticise his recent form. Says, I can't argue with that. I'm going to improve. Well, tonight's the night, son. Let's see what you can do. Do I make any changes in the back 3? Do you know what? I'm going to take the old boy out. Chris Mepham can have a rest for Nelson, one of the signings in the summer window. And on deadline day in the last episode, we'll switch Schmidt to the left. We'll put Nelson on the right. And that's going to be it. So the only 2 changes, the goalkeeper, which will be a regular one in Europe, and then Nelson in for the experienced Mepham. The rest of it stays the same. So let's go and get into it and see how we get on. Because Facundo Fernandez, no ill effects from that calf strain. We got him off early enough for this one. Now let's see if he can deliver the goods. Well, 4 changes for our visitors, who of course are a very decent side. They've got Trincao still in there, Zinchenko's at left back. They've got Ozan Kabak in defence. Comas dropped out of the team to the bench. And they have got the full 12 from being a loaded league, which I think the only ones we haven't had that so far with a Red Star. So let's go and say we're favourites for a reason. Prove a point, boys. We've not really shown signs of being excellent. And I think I've got the music off to save you that one. We didn't expect to have it this early in the save, but here we are in February with Europa League football. Let's go and get into it at home to Feyenoord and see how we get on today. There's a big ball over the top as far as the centre half. I will apologise if you can hear the Europa League music. I think it's off. Zinchenko plays down the left to Afori. Chance to get to the byline. It's got back as far as Aarons, who gets it away. Tahirovic can shoot. Chance from the edge. It's just over the bar. Barreto was beaten, I think, It's a really excellent effort. We've struggled to make it work that time. With 6 minutes gone, it stays 0-0. But the visitors are very much on the front foot as Trincao puts a free kick just over. Going to encourage these lads. We're not getting much out of them so far. I need a reaction. Nelson's on a booking already. Not ideal for the man we've brought in. And not an ideal performance so far. There's another set piece for Feyenoord. They're winning free kicks galore. And they knocked that one in. It's got to be offside from Tahirovic. It's got to be. If it's not, I'm asking huge questions of the defence. Barreto comes out to complain. Please don't be awarded. It's not. Goal disallowed, but we are playing woefully. And Feyenoord at the minute playing us off the park. We had a very similar problem against Sparta Rotterdam, the other Dutch side we faced. They really played us off the park too, but we nicked one on the counter. We might need that to get us flowing here because so far, it's been all Feyenoord and we're struggling with their style as well. As Christensen into midfield, well nicked by Doig for Miley, up to Leonardo. Big ball out wide to Aarons, can't work out why it's so empty here. As Aslan beats his man on the right, we know the quality he's got. Into Leonardo, but the keeper's up. Nordero does very well with it. He can look for the big kick on the counter as well. They're not playing out from the back, not the traditional Dutch way there. Nelson deals with it though and finds Gedson Fernandez. Aarons down the line to Aslan. Plenty of space to run into, but he goes for the early cross instead. Fernandez up and gets there. It's over the bar. Bit of a weird one, that. Two phases of play that don't match the tactics of either side, I would imagine. Hearts 1-0 with Roma is a standout result so far. And we're next to Everton in the overall table. The English boys in the top 8. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a draw wouldn't be a terrible result here, given the fact that we've already won 2. But playing our first team, I want to get it out the way as early as possible so we can rest people later in the group. It's long away from the final defender as far as Nelson, and he finds Lewis Miley, who's been a star since he's been here. Aarons into the box, away by Christensen, but only as far as Facundo Fernandez. Back fit and a good ball in. But Leonardo has shanked it a million miles wide. No idea what that sound was, apologies. As Gedson into Doig, flicked on. Zinchenko away. Only as far as Lewis Miley here, who finds Doig and Schmidt. He goes to Doig again. Chance down the left wing. Can he get the cross in? Big ball to the back post. Aslan's up. He's headed wide. We're turning the screw. We're back on the front foot here. We're definitely starting to dominate. We've just not got the goal. And at the moment, it stays 0-0. We're on the front foot again with Doig. Have we switched? Oh, I was about to say, we're shooting the opposite way now. As Schmidt gets the ball in the middle. Finds Nelson. And he gives it back to Mendes in the centre circle. Miley and Schmidt keep in possession. But you can see we're trying to draw them out. And it's working a little now as Nelson finds Gedson. Now we've got the man over on the right. Aarons releases Aslan. Chance to cross for Leonardo. But was he onside? It was close. Would be his 5th of the season if he gets it. Got 2 at Red Star to really help, but that, I'm not sure, I think he might be off. Let's see. Goal awarded. He just about broke the offside trap. Just what we needed after a good 15 minutes. We're 1-0 up on a stroke of half time. I just saw Dan James has gone to Rangers and got the opener there as Facundo Fernandez breaks away down the left again. 2-0 would be a lovely score to go in with, and we've got it. Aslan with a header straight at Ordero. Rebounding from Leonardo, but was he offside again? No flag from the assistant, but he's not gone running back, which they often do. I really don't know with this one. It has been awarded again. 2-0 at half-time is a lovely score, and after the early scare, might get even better yet. Fernandez with a corner, half away, Miley back in. Nordero holds it. But given the first 10 minutes, I'm thrilled to be 2 up. Not sure why the lads aren't more confident, aren't feeling a bit happier. Feels like the morale's on the floor, but a really good performance and more importantly, a great result so far. Hopefully we can cling on for it as Miley finds Aslan. We're definitely getting them with that front 3. Leonardo's obviously applied the finishing touches, but Fernandez and Aslan have been magnificent as Aarons gets to the byline. This time, it is 3 at half-time. Marcos Leonardo with a hat-trick. Great run from Aarons, who has delivered after that kick up the backside. And now, if we can hold this out to the hour mark, we can start resting people for Reading. A really good position for us to be in. Let's see if we can keep this confident for now. If we get to 60 minutes, we'll make some changes. We're just under an hour on the clock. We've got a corner kick with Miley, and if this goes in, I'll make changes immediately. If not, we'll give it 5 more. As Miley into Doig, headed away. Gedson Fernandez back out to Miley. Cutting in from the left, there's many in the middle. Back to Fernandez, oh, off the post. Almost his first goal for the club. It would have been a cracker. But it's not to be. Just over 60 gone. Let's make them changes now. I'm going to have a look through at the natural fitness, and then we're going to make our decision. Well, I've made 4 substitutions immediately with the left wing back and the front 3 all getting a rest. It gives Lopez a chance to get fitness, Siganov, Van der Lack and Georgi some time. Then it'll either be Miley or Aarons for the final sub, I think. We're getting into the final 20 now. And I think we're going to go for Lewis Miley, who's just the first to dip there into the poor conditioning. So we're going to put Damsgaard on for him. 3-0 with 15 to go. Been a really comfortable day at the office. It's been a really good performance, and I feel we can target the Europa League and trying to go a long way in this. Maybe we have to prioritise it over the league later in the season, especially if we drift into mid-table again. There's Barreto, who's not had much to do today. Big ball up to Lopez, who one advantage over Leonardo is that he's better in the air. It's away as far as the midfielder for Feyenoord, but again, they've not really laid a glove on us other than those early set pieces. I say as they break away down the left now with Diego Lainez. He's got the chance to cross. Beats Aarons easily. Good ball in for Trincao. Knocked down as far as the midfielder. And Unai Vencedor scores the goal. First of the season for him. His first goal for the club. And we will not be keeping a second clean sheet of the season against the Rotterdam clubs. Though Gedson Fernandez has nicked it in the middle. Lopez breaks away to Van der Lack. He should have the legs to get in behind. The former PSV man's in. And there's that inconsistent technical ability we talked about. Not quite able to apply the finishing touch. But 5 to go. We're still 3-1 up. Just want to keep it comfortable. We don't want a grandstand finish. As Victor Nelson plays wide to Aarons. Has support down the line from the experienced Siganov. Cuts in on his left. Then goes back on his right. And a good ball into Lopez. Shot well saved. He just can't get going. I'm not sure if he's actually scored for us yet. I'll have to have a look. But he's just not been able to get going regularly. As Siganov puts it in, Lopez misses out. Back in from Mendes. It's straight at Ordero. Never looked like going in, let's be honest. Has Lopez scored? No, he's not. But he's only made 6 appearances and 2 starts. That's the nature of his physical record. Just keeps getting injured. It's been such a shame. With 90 seconds to go, I think we're going to do it. Schausweid's Vencedor and now Comas. Our final going to make it a grandstand. Yes, they are. Francisco Trincao has scored the goal. Now we better do a little bit of calming things down. Wingbacks on defensive duties. Wingers on support. Want to make sure we get this job done here. We don't want anything silly. We're going to swap Gedson Fernandez to a centre mid on defend. We're going to time waste all the time as well. Again, we've seen this a few times. It happened in one of the cup games last year. It happened late on a few times in the season last year as well. We haven't got the squad depth to replace 5 and not be under pressure. In the end, we do the job. We managed to get the 3-2 win. But it was far from convincing at the end, which it should have been from the position we were in. Let's have a look at where that leaves us though. We're flying in the Europa League. 3 wins for us. Everton doing really well as well from an English point of view. And while we shouldn't really be supporting the other English clubs from the point of view of facing them later in the competition, it is important while we're at Bournemouth because it means that 8th will probably get Europe rather than just 7th, which gives us half a chance extra there. For now though, another 500 grand in, which is big because the finances aren't that great. They are still far better than the previous years though. But let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back. We're 8th in the Premier League, 3rd in the Europa League phase. I mean, overall, it's not too bad, is it? We are going to come back, I think, in the middle of December. If we've not got much to worry about when it comes to Europe, we'll show 2 league games, maybe Villa and Chelsea. If we are still thinking about Europe, if we're still trying to get the job done, we'll do Nordsjælland and then we'll do either City or Chelsea, depending on the time. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. For now, we've got a little while to get through yet. Of course, we could have a Carabao Cup quarter-final around that time as well, so that might impact our decision on what games we're going to show. If you did enjoy this one, narrow defeat at West Ham despite being the better side, not a phrase we've used often at Bournemouth, and then a big win against Feyenoord thanks to that Leonardo hat-trick, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments where you think we're going to go this season. Is it same again in the league and then try and push in the cups in Europe? or have we got a chance if we can beat some of the bigger boys? If you want to stay up to date and find out, subscribe and turn that notification bell on, because we'll be back in a couple of days' time to get closer to our answer. We've got more big games coming domestically and in Europe, but for now, we'll be back tomorrow with Southend United. 2 big relegation 6-pointers in that one, so make sure you come and join along. If you missed yesterday's transfer deadline day special, that's up in the eye above. There's also links there to our nostalgia video from Sunday with FM09, as well as our experiments, our guides, the Twitch channel, a football podcast, so much more stuff. But thank you very much for watching. Your support as always is appreciated. We'll see you back here next time for more action from AFC Bournemouth.